"Sheriff, arrest this squatter right now." Karen screamed, her finger trembling as she pointed straight at me. The morning sun hit the lake, sparkling like shards of broken glass, and half the HOA had gathered, whispering and glancing nervously at each other. The sheriff, tall, gray at the temples, carrying authority in every inch of him, didn't flinch. He just flipped open a folder, taking his sweet time, and then said, calm as a church bell, "Ma'am, this cabin belongs to him." It was like someone had cracked thunder over the gravel driveway. Karen's face went white, her mouth opened, then shut again, as if the words had deserted her. She clutched at her pearls, staggered a step backward, and then, in true cinematic fashion, collapsed onto the gravel. Gasps erupted, neighbors rushed forward, and I just stood there frozen, wondering how it had gotten this far. What no one knew, or maybe had forgotten, was that this cabin had been in my family for decades. My grandfather built it with his own hands, pouring summer nights, winter chills, and stories of hard work into every timber. When he passed, he left it to me. In a world ruled by HOA rules and petty control freaks, ownership sometimes felt like fiction, and Karen, of course, thrived on fiction she could bend. Weeks earlier, I had returned after years away. Life had yanked me in every direction: city chaos, deadlines, family obligations, but I promised myself I'd honor my grandfather's legacy. The cabin wasn't just a place. It was memory, warmth, and lessons that had nothing to do with laws on paper. It smelled of pine and damp earth. The lake mirrored the sky like glass, and the birds swooped low, daring anyone to disturb the peace. I parked my old truck, humming to myself, unloading boxes of fishing gear and old family photos. The neighbors' curtains twitched, a couple of them walking slowly past, whispering as though they expected me to be someone else entirely. I waved, they stiffened, but I shrugged it off. 2 days later, Karen appeared. Or rather, announced herself. She came down the path like a storm in heels, clipboard in hand, each step sinking into the gravel with authority. "This property is under the jurisdiction of the Lakewood HOA," she said, not bothering with pleasantries. Her tone was sweet poison. I chuckled, trying not to roll my eyes. "Ma'am, I own this place. Always have." Her eyes narrowed, sharp as knives. "We have no record of you. Are you renting?" "Squatting." The word squatting set something on fire inside me, but Grandpa's voice echoed, "Kill them with kindness first, boy." I exhaled, forcing calm. "No, ma'am. It was my grandfather's. It's mine now. Daniel Matthews." "Pleasure." I offer my hand. She ignored it. From that moment, it was war. At first, it was subtle letters in my mailbox about unapproved structures, warnings about noise when I strummed my guitar at dusk, even complaints about the color of my cabin door. Some neighbors glanced sympathetically, but no one dared stand up to her. Karen's pride was built on fear and power, not kindness. Then it escalated. She stormed into my yard, claiming the cabin wasn't legally occupied. I showed her the deed. She snatched it, laughed, tossed it back like it was trash. It hit me, then she wouldn't stop until she either broke me or made me disappear. The next morning, sirens screamed up the gravel road. Neighbors gathered. Karen emerged, hair perfectly coiffed despite yesterday's collapse, chest out, pointing at me. "Squatter," she shouted. But the sheriff unfurled the folder, revealing the truth. Her world crumbled, pearls scattering, clipboard clattering, polished nails scraping grave gloss. She hit the ground. People froze. Some rushed toward her. Others just gawked, stunned that the queen of the HOA had gone down. Sheriff Tom checked her pulse, calm as ever. "She's breathing. Call an ambulance, just in case." A young mother, Jessica, trembling with her child clinging to her leg, dialed 911. The scene felt surreal, like I was watching from above and below at the same time. My heart pounded. Every instinct screamed to kneel beside her, help her up, but she had tried to destroy me yesterday. Grandpa's voice whispered again. "Kindness doesn't mean letting people walk over you. It means doing what's right, even when pride says no. I knelt down, gently brushing a strand of blonde hair from her forehead. Karen, can you hear me? I asked softly. Her eyelids fluttered. The sheriff gave me a subtle nod, approving my choice of compassion over anger. Ambulance sirens pierced the quiet. 2 EMTs rushed, sliding an oxygen mask over her face, murmuring about stress or dehydration, lifting her carefully onto the stretcher. Neighbors whispered, some suspicious, some guilty, some respectful. Karen's eyes flickered open as she was loaded in, wild at first, then landing on me. I braced for the scream, the outrage, but she only glared, lips trembling under the oxygen mask, eyes rolling shut again. Silence fell broken only by the lake's lapping water. Sheriff Tom held up the folder one last time. This property belongs to Daniel Matthews. He's the legal owner. No squatting, no fraud, nothing illegal. Respect that. Heads nodded reluctantly. Mumbled apologies drifted through the crowd. I exhaled, relief flooding my butt. Deep down, I knew it wasn't over. People like Karen didn't quit. They regrouped. They came back stronger. That evening, I sat on the porch, old rocking chair creaking beneath me. I whispered into the night, this place is mine. Grandpa, I won't let anyone take it. The lake reflected the last streaks of sunset gold. The air smelled of pine. And for a moment, peace felt possible. But it was fleeting. The next morning started calm. Birds chirped. The sun glimmered on the lake. I sipped coffee at the picnic table, thinking maybe the storm had passed until a knock rattled the door. 2 HOA board members, George and Linda, stood there, uneasy, whispering as they approached. Daniel, about yesterday, George began. I raised an eyebrow. Karen calling the cops her collapsing, Linda winced. Both, George said. She's been running this HOA a long time. People do what she says. But, well, after yesterday, folks are starting to question things. That's good, right? I asked. George gave a tired smile. It is. But Karen doesn't fight fair. She'll dig into your past, finances, anything. If that fails, she'll try turning everyone against you. My stomach tightened. Grandpa's warning returned. People who crave control will choke if they can't swallow you whole. I thanked them and watched them leave, whispering on the gravel path. I spent the day repairing the cabin, feeling my hands working, sweat connecting me to something real. And then just as the sun dipped low and the water turned orange, I heard shouting. I froze. A massive sign had appeared at the entrance to my driveway. No trespassing. Private HOA property. And, standing beside it, clipboard in hand, was Karen herself. Pale, but upright, risen from yesterday's collapse, lips curling into a thin smile. This man does not belong here, and I will prove it. He will regret challenging me, she shouted, voice carrying across the gathering crowd. Neighbors murmured, some shaking their heads, some nodding nervously. The sun sank lower, shadows stretching, letters screaming at me like white-hot defiance. I approached slowly, hands open, breathing like Grandpa taught me. Good evening, I said, voice steady. You can't put a sign on my driveway. Karen stood rigid, bandaged wrist from fainting, lipstick red like a stoplight, clipboard as her shield. This is community property, she announced. As HOA president, I am securing it. Her gaze swept the crowd, then locked on me, daring me to respond. And I realized in that moment, the lake, the cabin, the gravel driveway, it was all more than property. It was a battlefield for respect, for truth, for legacy. And Karen? She was just getting started. Where would you stand if you were me? Would you fight? Walk away? Or find a way to turn the tables? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about power, justice, and what it really means to protect what's yours.